I just loved it. So that was the best day.
Well, the other thing is that when you are in a session as a client, that's when you really get the best experience, because it's literally like wheels within wheels moving around, and it's like, I remember when I first saw Frank, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I literally was in some other space where I just didn't know, because there's so many, because it's everything is in the here and now. And when you hear your own reactions, sometimes you think, that's just a bit bizarre. But of course, you're hearing everything from a very disassociated position, and you're only hearing your own responses. So if the practitioner is really good at framing things, what happens is you get a complete reflection on what's happening, but from a third position. So it really makes a massive difference.
I thought I was being very, I was very, very conscious, and I felt that the responses were just nuts.
Nuts.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed is it just doesn't give me an opportunity to, get to what I want, what I was stuck at. It's just pushing me or pulling me here, there, and I'm like, oh my god, that's what happened with me last night. I'm thinking about it so much, and it just wouldn't let me get to that point which I started with, saying that what's the problem. So that was the problem, and it's all over the place. And with the hypnosis coming in, the relaxation bit, it just slowed down everything in my head, and it just like everything just came to that one standstill position where I'm like just quiet, and I'm like, okay, this is it.
Yeah. So you're surprised.
Yeah, and it's I feel it's a very good place for me to start from and take things further from there, rather than just going in my head, blah 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 blah, and suddenly it's like all quiet, and I'm like, okay, what is it that I want? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
What's the whole point of me doing this? And it's just suddenly it's giving me different responses, which makes so much more sense to me now.
Yeah.
Than what it was yesterday. So, yeah.
Well, and also what's amazing, and I find, and this is why I'm just so enthusiastic about developing the model, is that it's 30 minutes work.
Yeah.
People say to me, well, why, how can you produce effective change for people in a short period of time? And I go, well, quite easy if you know what to do, but you have to really pay attention and really be precise. And as a practitioner, you have to be completely invested in it. There's no maybes. You have to be right there with the client and go with what comes up. And that's the real heart of it. But I'm pleased. I'm not surprised, but I am pleased, and I think that it'll be interesting today to see some of the other guys.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many people. I mean, I've done around 5,000 client hours. That it's just another day at work for me, so I don't think of it in any way, shape, or form. And often people are quite surprised that with a little bit of adjusting, everything's much simpler, but it's much, much more streamlined than anything else I've come across. And when I look at a lot of things, and they're fine, it's like there's lots of different things that work well for people, but sometimes I'm thinking, it's just going round and round houses. Now we're going to do this, as soon as you end up putting in many, many points of reference, you're going to be going the long haul round. I mean, because the more points of reference are, the more the ability is for people to process and think about stuff. And they're already thinking about it too much. So the last thing you want is for them to think about it even more.
Yes.
Well, yeah, well, it could be this, and then this, and then this. And, you know, even when people talk about sort of goals, and even with timeline stuff, the danger is you're just setting up sort of digital sequences going from A to B to C. So the real secret is using the client's insights and the client's metaphors and the client's programming and letting them figure it out and own the experience rather than what you need to do. And most people, even not consciously perhaps, want just tell me what I need to do and then that's taken care of.
Yes.
And of course, practitioners never going to do that. And often, you know, they'll get to a point where they go, well, yeah, okay, so now it's this, and you go, well, but on the other hand, maybe not. So you keep getting them to turn it over in their heads to the point where you get it, and you go, okay, right, I get it. You know, I've got the ability to have a gear shift in these situations, which gives me, of course, I understand conceptually that, but it's a very, very different thing when you actually get it. It's a whole different thing, and it's just. Also, I think I found when I was a client with Frank, I just thought it was very funny. I just was listening to my own responses. I thought he's got me all over the place. I don't even. I'm sort of like he's a million miles ahead of anything that I could possibly think about, and I thought it was very funny. Perfect.
And here we are.
Look at that Sunday traffic here.
Hello.